Hey everyone, it's Trish. Thank you all for joining the Kettlebell 2-arm long cycle for women reference group, whatever I called it, I can't remember now. But I know we were talking about lifting belts for GS applications, especially the 2-arm long cycle. It also applies to the 1-arm long cycle, but I just thought I would share some of the things that I've learned over the last year and a half or so that I've been lifting in the belts. And I'll also say I hate talking on video, but I'm doing this for you, so please bear with me. Anyways, with the lifting belts, use it primarily for myself personally for back support, and also to give just that sort of tightness and somewhere to put your elbows, even though you're not resting it right on top of the belt. It kind of holds everything together, and it provides a shelf. But it took a little bit of shopping around to find out which one works for me. The first belt I got was this one from some generic chain fitness supply store. So it's basically a weightlifting belt, and I don't know if you can see it, but listen, like it's really stiff, and you can hear it cracking. It's okay just to figure it out. It's like $30. And the leather's kind of cheap. It's got some kind of padding here in the back, and these little nubbies are really, they kind of hurt if you actually put the belt on, and then you realize that maybe you had to put the belt off to the side a bit, and all of a sudden you're scraping your arm on this and causing you to bleed. So if that happens to you, what I found works was take a wristband and just put it over top, and voila, you don't have any of that stuff going on. Anyways, this is not where I wear my belt. That's not how I wear my belt, but giving you the history of what worked for me. This is okay to start, and it's not a big investment, but it's something that you may want to try or borrow someone's belt if you want. Then I got Laboratory of Champions, Arseni's belt, and this was amazing. It's really high quality leather. It's really thick. It's got 3 layers. The leather is super soft. Sorry, there I am. And it has these cuts out here. I know his new generation has different size cuts so that you can flip the belt one way or the other depending on where you want to rest, because if you have a notch and it's too high up, you may want to just bring it down a little so that it's here. But I love this belt. It's signed by numerous Russian world champions, and I'm hoping that their technique rubs off on me. But it's great. I found, though, I wore it the first time when I was doing my Master of Sport attempt, and I didn't put it on properly, so it ended up doing this and this, and I was actually racking on top of the belt, and it was more of a hindrance than anything, but that's just because it was the first time I'd worn it. So I don't suggest you do that. If you have a belt, practice in it lots, and if you don't have a chance to practice in it, then go with what you are familiar with. But I love this belt, and you can also make it softer by rubbing in some whatever kind of leather oil that works. But it's really nice. It needs to be worked in a bit more. I do find it a bit wide in the back for me, and to address some of the things that females, there are problems, is that we've got a smaller, I guess it's a bigger hip to waist ratio, and the belt, when you do it up, it will do this if you bend over, and it'll pop up and get really loose, and that's distracting. So I'll show you how to put on the belt. I just bought this belt at the Cali Open, and I got it from Sergei Rashinsky. It's vintage Russian from 1985. It's beautiful. It does have the stitching here, which lets it kind of bend a bit more. And it's, I don't know how many layers it's got. I don't know. It's got like 2 or 2.5 layers. But it's older and it's been worked in, so it's quite nice. So this is the belt that I'm going to demonstrate how I put on my stuff. First off, If you're wearing any of the dry fit types of fabrics or the technical fabrics that dry really quickly but they're slippery, don't use them for 1 arm long cycle or 2 arm long cycle, because you're going to get that slipping. You want to have friction for your elbows to sit, because we cannot do this on top the way the guys do. And if your coach is a man, bless his heart, but he doesn't understand the female body, so you just can't just rack on top of these things. You have to kind of find your way to the side. Everyone's different, so maybe you're flatter, maybe you're more robust, I don't know, but you know where you need to rack your elbows, and it's probably not going to be like this. So you got to find the way that works for you. Cotton t-shirts work the best, because you want to wet it down. You want to have that friction so that you're not slipping off when you are racking. So what I do, I take my water bottle, just plain water, and I spray everywhere, all around, even the back. And also make sure your shirt is long enough, because you don't want that thing riding up to here. And then I put the belt as tight as I can somewhere around the chub area, you know what I mean? Not the bottom part of the hips, or not like right on the hips, because I'm going to push it down, and not on your waist, but just sort of in that area where the muffin top grows. And put on that. So what I've wet my shirt, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the shirt up as I push the belt down, and it's not going to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be loose belt. It needs to be tight, super tight. And what happens when you do that, you've got all that friction 360, so it's not going to slip as much. Plus, you have the overhang of your shirt to cover the top of the belt, so you don't have to worry about hitting it and causing the friction on your elbows, because I wore off a lot of skin doing that before. Who was it that told me? It was either Tom Corrigan or it could have been Jason Dolby. Jason was the one that first encouraged me to start using the belt. Anyway, so you got this, and yeah, it's kind of baggy. It's not very feminine, but it's not about that, is it? And you can spray down a bit more here as well. But that works. So when you pick up your bells, you want to pressurize first, because if you just go loose, as soon as you bend over, that back is going to pop up and cause that gap, because we all have that gap right here. So you want to pressurize in your abdomen as you're bending over to get the bells, and then keep it up. So there, that's where it sits. Don't know how you hold them, how you rack them, it's up to you. Some people stack them, some people do this. I just kind of do this. I just put my hands over top, but I can't stack. I can't do this. I just prefer it to be nice and even, and I try not to stay in the rack too long. So, what else can I say? I'm sure you'll have some questions and stuff, and I promise I'll get on the blog and I'll remember more things, but I wanted to actually show you putting on the belt, because that made a huge difference, and I've never had it right up on me in competition. So, bigger shirt, cotton, tight as you can, push it down, pull the shirt up, make sure it's all wet. You can smash some chalk in there if you want, and happy lifting.